Good morning, you sexy mother lovers. This is Mitch coming at you from Jersey NJ Morning Drive. What's going on, guys? Everything is good in the hood. Everything is all right. You already know what it is. I'm feeling the energy, clear skies. What? Today is the 26th of January, and this is crazy. I was talking about, a couple of days ago, temperature freaking hit. I think it was like 60 degrees, man. And a couple of days later, went back to like 3, and now it's 24, man. I don't know. Anyone that says that global warming is not a phenomenon must not live in Jersey because this is crazy. But anyway, so I basically was, sitting down yesterday, going through some things in the computer, you know what I'm saying, like learning a couple of things. And I noticed something very, very profound. And that is the amount of TV shows that there are on TV. We have on television. I mean, there are shows, TV shows on Netflix. There are TV shows on Hulu. There are TV shows on Amazon. There are TV shows virtually on every network in the planet. And I was thinking that even the news are not news anymore. It's basically pseudo news. It's entertainment. Like, what the hell? Who cares if Kim Kardashian, bought a $2 million home? Or who cares if, you know what I'm saying, like Kanye West bought a new jet? I'm not saying that he did. What I'm saying basically is what I'm trying to say is that, like, we don't have news anymore, man. All we have basically is just sound bites of information. And I think that that's like overwhelming. It's just too many, way too many television programming, and it just shows, and it almost shows the mentality of people. I think that we are the most entertained society, while at the same time the least educated. Hear me out again. I think it is, in my opinion, that we are the most entertained society, but the least educated. And what I mean by educated is that, I was talking about basically on the last video that I made about how is it that we basically get involved into other nations' problems or whatever when we have basically our own problems. And so what I said in that video was that like 50% to 60%, probably more, of high school students, if you ask them what nation borders the United States to the north and to the south, they wouldn't know the nations. They wouldn't know that there are other countries that border the United States. And that to me is frightening. And so, like, I was watching basically, like all these shows in Game of Thrones and Ray Donovan. And I'm like, yo, what's going on here? And so, even the TLC, which was branded originally as the Learning Channel, now it's got a whole bunch of bullshit shows that have basically nothing to do with education. And so the only ones that we have right now that are, like somewhat educational, um, you know, Nat Geo, Nat Geo Wow, and even those are jumping in the bandwagon. Now, don't get me wrong, they had a series called Mars, which I truly, truly enjoy. Um, they have, they had, Elon Musk talk about basically the colonization of Mars and what will happen. So it was a pretty interesting concept of what will happen in the future if we do decide to send people into outer space. And that's cool and all, but to be quite honest with you, my my thoughts are my thoughts are as follow. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have this beautiful planet. we have this rock that we all call home. And so rather than thinking about colonizing another planet, why don't we try to make it work here? Why don't we try to fix the problems that we have here rather than looking at something else? Like, we do have we have everything that we need to live here. We have water, we have trees, we have oxygen. And so we don't have to go to harsher places to get the things that we need to live in harmony. But what I'm saying is that the concept of the show was pretty cool. But again, going back to my original thought, is that we are just way too entertained. You know, we have rituals like the Super Bowl. We advertise, and even the commercials on the Super Bowl. We already know we want commercials, or people want commercials that are super entertaining. And so there is no more real information giving out to people. Like, for example, think about this for a moment. We have an issue right now that no one really talks about. It's mentioned, but no one really talks about it. And that is, the water that we're drinking is completely and utterly contaminated with pharmaceuticals, with heavy metals, with all these things. I don't know if you guys heard, but about a year ago, I want to say, maybe a little less, there was a big deal in Michigan where people were getting poisoned by the water because the water company, that the company or the entity that it was responsible for the water in Michigan, was using water for the Michigan River, which is all fucked up. And there were people getting sick, and there were people, like, getting ill from these things. And you didn't see anything about that. And the problem, I think, lies in the fact that media is owned today, the news, they're owned by corporations. So, like, for example, they really can investigate what a big corporation is doing, because more than likely that same corporation is the one paying the bills. So how can you present the news? You take a look at the news cycle from, CNN and Fox News, and basically what you see is not information, but rather just an opposing opinion of the other network. So it's not objective in any way, shape, or form. It's just, if you say this, I'm gonna say the opposite, and if I say that, you're gonna say the opposite. If I like Obama, we're gonna hate Obama. If we like Trump, we're gonna hate Trump. And so there is nothing informational about the news today. You take a look at the news today, and the most important breaking news: Beyonce gave birth. And I'm not saying that I don't like Beyonce. I don't know her. But what I'm trying to state is the fact that irrelevant shit makes the headlines, and I don't understand that. I just don't. That the real news, things that basically are affecting us, are not reported. We are, in a really, really fucked up situation right now, man. And that, if you take a look at television, right, we pay hundreds of dollars to watch cable TV through the major network, meaning like the major cable companies. And all you do is you pay money to get commercials. Hold on, if I'm paying money for something, I don't want to fucking get commercials. But it used to be that you got cable TV because you wanted to basically not get commercials. This back in the day. But that has completely changed, because if you think about it, one corporation owns like 30 channels. And we talk about monopolies, and it's illegal to, but it's all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You have all these corporations owning the media. You have all these corporations owning the war. Like, I heard something the other day that completely caught me by surprise, and that is that in the US, in our country, in some states, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, in some states, it is illegal to harvest rainwater. Let me repeat that shit again and let it sink in. In some states in our great nation, it is illegal, folks, to harvest rainwater. And if you are caught harvesting rainwater, and what I mean by harvesting is that you allow the rain that falls on your roof and you save it into, let's say, a 55 gallon um, container for irrigation, for whatever. If you get caught doing that, there are fines and jail time. Rainwater. However, again, correct me if I'm wrong, it is said that there is a corporation right now that owns the rights to water. Let me think about that for a moment. Something that happens naturally up in the sky, condensation that goes from vapor vapor water to liquid water falling down naturally, that is free for everyone. There is a corporation that owns the rights to it, and it's not only one. It's some of them. Nestle owns the rights of water. I don't know how is that possible and how if it's true or not, but I wouldn't put it past. You know, I wouldn't put it past into the. I, I just don't know what to say. So if I'm wrong, please let me know. You know, hit me up. But most people don't know that. Most people don't know that the water we drink today has basically heavy metals. The water that you use from the tap, that probably back in the 50s or 60s was safe to drink. Today, you can find pharmaceutical grade, chemicals. You can find carcinogens. You can find heavy metals, and so the tap water is not safe to drink. And I'm going back to that to my original idea, my original train of thought. That is like we are too entertained but not educated. Even kids that go to college today, college is like a church. It's an indoctrination camp. You look at today's college campuses, and I went to college, around 2098, 99, 2000, 2002, and when I went to school, it was a place for you to congregate, to get together, have discussions about things, and learn things. High schools today, you go to school, you have kids that are start from like the fifth grade, and we don't have free thinkers. All we have is test takers. A lot of test takers. They have a standardized test for every single fucking grade. You don't see that in other nations. They do have tests, but not like we do. Like we take about 3 months of a school year to prepare the kids for the test. And I do think that the reason why they do these standardized tests is just so that the schools can get funding. Because why would that be so important? Oh my God, if you didn't pass, you don't graduate. Back when I was going to school, it was the HSPT, I think it was. That it was math, it was English, writing, and something else. I can't remember what it was. But you need to basically master these three things in order for you to be able to graduate, and you needed to take or have a minimum level or a minimum score in order for you to be able to get into certain colleges. Again, that's something for another day. But I'm just saying, like, we are, again, the most entertained society and the least educated. And so we're trying to compete with countries like China. We're trying to compete with countries like Japan. We try to compete with other countries like India, where, yeah, we call India a third world country, but this, you have people that come from another country, right? And they're more prepared in math, in, world affairs than kids here. Like, I had a friend when I was all going to high school, and this guy came from Costa Rica. I actually, some of you guys that guys that know me knows that I am from the Caribbean. And so he came from Costa Rica, and this guy was killing the math test, killing it. And this guy was so good at math that he was challenging some of the teachers, and he would sit down with some of the teachers and solve problems and show them that the way that he was doing it was more efficient and faster. And so what I'm trying to say is that you cannot have so much entertainment without taking away from the education. We give iPads to our kids. Man, guilty as charged. I do it. I don't let them use it all day, but I do it. And so an educational tool is almost become like a nanny. And I think we are, like, we're dropping the ball. We are truly dropping the ball, man. Anyway, I wanted to get your opinion on this, to see what you think about, what I'm saying. Um, Hit me up, comment below, let me know what you think. Um, this is Mix coming at you. NJ Morning Drive, mother lovers. I love you all. Have a great day. It's beautiful, man. The sun is beaming. You can see it obviously in the reflection. Um, but it's crazy out here, man. It's just crazy. We need to do better. We need to do better as a nation. And by the way, congratulations to the Democrats and the Republicans on passing a bill to fund the government. I don't know if you guys heard what I was saying. I know maybe someone heard and say, you know what, that makes sense. But congratulations, this is what I'm talking about. Just because you don't get what you want doesn't mean that you cannot talk about it and negotiate it later. But let's make sure that we take care of the people first. Anyway, this is Mix coming at you. NJ Morning Drive. Have a great day. Be safe out there. Peace.